Hello, 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 and welcome to the 52nd, which I believe is officially a year now, right? That's at least a year's worth of shows. 52nd episode of the collective. Yeah, if we counted properly, this might be 52nd, 53rd, 60th, who knows? 52nd episode of the collective spotlight. I am having guest Jeff Parker from Ninjak on the show. I think he's on the West Coast, so we're going to give him some time to get here in the studio. Actually, Jeff just popped in, but Jeff's book, Ninjak, is actually hitting the shelf tomorrow, along with a few other great books. Real quick, I want to give Stephanie Phillips a shout out. Her book, Man Among Ye, is getting its second volume. Beyond the Breach is another great book. We got incentives for it here. And then Sinister War from Spider-Man is starting, and this is a beautiful 1 in 25 cover featuring everybody, including that J. Jonah Jameson. Give me pictures of Spider-Man. But anyways, without any further ado, Jeff is backstage. I'm going to bring him out, and we'll spend about 20, 25 minutes talking about his newest book through Valiant, which is Ninjak.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Today?
I'm great. This is... I just found that StreamYard link. I was like, where is it? I was just tearing through emails trying to find it.
Well, so first of all, you're on the West Coast, so how are you doing? It's kind of still morning for you, afternoon. How are you doing over there?
Oh, we're having a nice day. We're not currently on fire. Knock on stuff. Yeah, it's really nice out here for now.
Nice.
In Portland. The comics capital of the world.
Yeah, that's where we always go for. Well, like 2 years ago, Comics Pro was out there, and we always got good stores out there. Jeff, your book, your number one is going to be now it's Ninjak, correct?
Right. It is.
Nijak.
Ninjak. Well, you could say Ninja K. We in one of the issues we kind of have fun talking about how to pronounce it. You'll see. I don't know.
Because I've been told both ways by people. Ninja K, Ninjak. Our social media director put it out there as Nijak, I guess.
It's a Valiant tradition to have comics titles that no one knows exactly how they're pronounced.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing in this number one issue. I mean, some people might be familiar with the character, some people may not, but it looks like you're taking him out to Turkey. You're taking him out there, and it looks like he's right off rip going to get in some trouble. So talk to people a little bit about what you're doing with your run here. Yeah,
we're actually, not that you have to have read it, but we're picking up from his last series. And at the end of that, he was fed up with MI6, which is, everybody knows, the British Secret Service, the ones that give you licenses to kill and such. And he found out more about the ninja program that he was a part of and decided he didn't want to work for MI6 anymore. So naturally, MI6 has had someone tailing him to try to figure out, like, well, what is he doing? Is he working for enemies? Is he, and as we open the book, Neville Alcott, his old handler, is talking to his superior at MI6, and he's saying that, well, so far he's kind of doing the sort of things I would have sent him out on anyway, which, they're very happy about that, but they're talking about how to bring him into the fold. And while they're sitting down in this pub that's supposed to be very protected and safe housed for agents like themselves to use, they're hit with a psychic attack from these mysterious characters. And you find out, and then you cut to what's going on with Ninjak. He's protecting a Saudi journalist who is taking refuge in an embassy. This may or may not have anything to do with recent history in the world. But it's kind of like, what if Ninjak had been there and had an opinion on the matter? Oh, sorry, my dog just came in. Wait, let's see if we can get him in. Hey, Martin.
Hey, we love a pup in the store. We're gonna have a dog in here playing D&D later today. We sometimes have a dog on Sundays. We're a super dog friendly store.
Oh, really? Oh, I can't wait to come in there. I don't know what are you doing, buddy? Come on. So anyway, this is where we meet Mina. She's the songbird character who's been assigned, that they were just talking about, that's been assigned to follow Ninjak around, Colin King. And she's just watching from afar, and I believe in Istanbul. And she's watching how he's kind of being very low tech in his approach lately. Like, a lot of times in the book, you see him do things like he'll suddenly throw a bunch of nanites or just all kinds of crazy tech in his little ninja style attacks, and or use some kind of crazy holographic disguises. Instead, all he did was literally put on a robe and sneak into the embassy like anybody could have done, like 3 kids in a trench coat. And he gets in there to protect the journalist, and a big Ninjak style fight goes down, and you find out all you need to know about his past during that scene. She kind of helpfully tells the new readers what he's all about, and we just try to keep it very streamlined. Like, it's just, I think people are just burnt on lots of continuity from every angle and every publisher. So we're like, we have it there if you want to look for it, but we don't make it something where you have to run to Wikipedia to figure out how to read our comic book. And pretty much this is just me like trying to set up cool stuff and get out of Javier Polito's way so that he can just do his magic. And he just comes up with really cool ways to tell the story. He did a thing recently online where he's talking about how he works, and he wants to actually do more of that, where he kind of explains his process to people. So we're trying to find him a good outlet for that. Because, the artist, I always describe it as the artist is really the second writer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're just writing in big hieroglyphic picture form to really spell out what's happening.
Well, he makes your vision come to life,
they're not the illustrator. That's the one thing I wish people would quit saying. So-and-so illustrated this book. And illustration is something different. Cartooning and comic storytelling is a really dynamic graphic approach that really is. It's why, like, a lot of times you'll hear artists say, "Oh, I can't write," and it's like, dude, you're already writing. You can too write. You're just afraid to do dialogue and stuff.
Right. In some way,
they're always coming up with great ideas. It's just like no one beats themselves up harder than artists, except Javier, who's very confident. And anyway, so we show you Ninjak going through his daily job, and then suddenly I feel like I'm telling the comic book. I shouldn't do this. But then the news gets out that MI6 has essentially just been blown. All of their information is out, and it's a big game-changing moment that rearranges his whole universe. And it's all about how he reacts from that point, and how he connects to Mina, who is not a killer, which is a rarity in this comic, because usually everybody's some kind of crazy super killer who can kill you with their hair or a look or whatever. And
a piece of string cheese,
whatever. They're just incredibly deadly with the string cheese. And and she is literally just a by the book spy who is there just like looking through binoculars, writing things down, reporting back to her bosses and everything. And now everybody's trying to kill her too, because she's just as public as anybody. And one of my favorite little bits, there's a panel where you get to see her parents find out that she's a spy on TV. But so yeah, that's the basic of it. And then there's more stuff. I'm not going to spoil it because then you won't go tomorrow.
No, and we got to get everybody to come in and grab it tomorrow and read it. My owner, actually, Brendan over here, has a question as well he wanted to ask before he gets back to work.
Good. Get in on this, Brendan. I've seen you before.
So I just kind of wanted to go ahead and finish up our mission where we wanted to get on an interview and talk about who is stronger, Hulk or Superman.
Well, that wasn't where I was expecting this to go, Brendan.
But see, let's go back to years ago, back at MegaCon, we were driving around at night. This was back when I was a fledgling retailer and you were a fledgling writer back in the days.
Yeah.
And they were going to be doing an interview. So we were out searching for this interview because they wanted to talk to you. And Frank Dollar at the time says, yeah, we'll talk to you. We'll go ahead and do the interview. And we were talking about hijacking the interview and just going off to something kind of crazy like that. So I figured, here's our opportunity to finally hijack that interview and talk about like who's stronger, Thor, Hulk, or whoever else we want to do.
I love when someone won't let something go. That's one of my favorite things. A good through line that like goes through decades.
It goes back to it was your idea, but it's good to see you again. So yeah, I said, oh, Jeff Parker. I said, I remember that guy from back in the day. So
yeah, man, it's good to see you again.
So it was good to see you now. Yeah, we're down here in Altamont Springs. So, you know, next time you're in this area, whether you're coming down for conventions or whatever else, we'd love to have you in. I'm sure we got some Jeff Parker books somewhere around the store.
Yeah, now that we're starting to travel again, I'd love to get down there. That'd be fun.
And just let us know so we can make sure we have a dog in the store as well for you.
We'll have a dog.
Please do. I prefer a dog in the store if all possible.
Jeff, I'm going to let you
cat's
continue.
fine. Something I can pet. That would be great.
All right, I'll let you continue with Danny's interview now.
All right,
I didn't really get the answer I was looking for. Good to see you.
By the end of it, I'll make sure he's got you.
I'm sure.
So Jeff, as you were breaking down kind of how your run starts, and you mentioned the first thing you mentioned is you're picking up from the last series, but it's not required reading.
Yeah.
As a writer, how do you approach writing that so that you can totally pick up new readers while still making the people who've been reading for a long time happy as well?
You know, I read them all.
That's a good start.
At first, I sit down and read them. And it's cool, you know, like reading stuff like by Christos Gage, who I think is terrific. I think he's just got great instincts and stories. And that actually influenced me because he started working in little bits of humor. And it worked so well for me. I was thinking like, well let's take that farther. Because actually the idea of a super dry sense of humor that he keeps throughout kind of works really well with the character. Because he's always killing people horribly. I mean, you got to get some jokes in there, I feel like. There's some stuff happening in here. And the way Javier depicts it, it takes you a minute to go back and go, oh wait, that was really horrific and gross. But because we were also getting a laugh out of it at the same time. And I like playing those dynamics off of each other. And I look back through and I just try to figure out who, what worked in the past, really like what stuck with me. Like later when I tried to remember, you know how you ask somebody when they come out of a movie, what happened? And then you see what really stuck with them. And it's always, to me, if there is a good, strong visual married to the thing that happened, people always remember that. If it was just delivered in dialogue, they can't remember it. That's why I try not to have too much. I try to stick to the basic show, not tell. You know, if it's really important, we will show you. If someone's just mumbling it off to the side, don't worry, you can set that one out.
All right, and actually that was going to lead me because you were hyping up Javier before Brendan came and sabotaged my interview.
Like a bull in a china shop. He just comes busting in.
But yeah, I was also so like the way you, and again, I'm not a comic writer, so correct me here. But the way I feel like presented this, and then Javier went ahead and made it happen with the way the comic went. I feel like it was a very stylized comic. I felt like I really was in Turkey. I really was in Istanbul seeing this all go down. Was that intentional?
Oh yeah. Well, we want to get that. I feel like Ninjak's the global character. Like he should just be constantly popping up in another city. Or somewhere in Africa, or just anywhere else, some other continent, like given half a chance. Like he's all over the place. He's not hanging out in New York fighting the same things over and over. And he's a very worldly guy, and he knows how to interact with people, good with languages, all that sort of thing. And Javier's style lends itself really well to that. What are you doing?
I'm trying to lower the seat on my bike.
Oh, sorry about that. My daughter's taking my tools, and I'm like, "What are you doing with my tools?" So it's like,
Don't worry, I can't
first
touch.
the
I
dog
can't.
comes in,
If
and
Brent's
then
tool belt goes missing, he's like, "Oh, where was the hammer I was using?" So I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
wait, was the dog here to distract me while she took the tools earlier? Is that what was happening? Oh, what I was going to say is something about Javier's minimal Toth-like style works really well with that whole sort of, because it makes you think of like Torpedo and some other comics you've seen, like where you could jump around in time periods and countries and everything. Also, he knows his stuff. I mean, like when I'm describing the guys in the embassy, I'm saying, we don't want to make them stereotypical. Like, I don't want people to think this is any kind of anti anything. It's simply, but it is based on recent history. And, it's like, and he knows what to do. He lives in Spain. He goes places. He knows how to do a good, accurate representation of different types of people. And I like the global aspect. I wanted it to feel more like The Italian Job or something like that, where it's like there's just lots of fun intrigues and heist type humor, and then later when we get into more serious stuff, you'll be caught off guard from sitting there like having a good time, like, oh no, that anyway, just playing each other off. Playing the elements off each other.
And it's funny because you talked about how confident Javier is. As I was looking through the credits, it's like not only is he, the line artist and everything like that, he did the lettering, did the words. It does look like he does his own colors as well. I mean, the guy's a jack of all trades. I mean,
he also had a little more time to work because obviously the pandemic happened. This was supposed to happen a year ago, and we were all getting geared up, and then boom, the whole world changed on us. But, we also kind of just took our time and like, all right, we suddenly had a lot more time to do the book. And, and Javier checked with Lisa Hawkins, our editor, and said, can I do this and this? And, and so I don't know if going forward, as we get on more of a regular schedule, we'll be able to have him do as much as he wants to do. But at the same time, he's kind of really setting a strong visual tone for the whole series. So everybody will come in. It gives you that sort of auteur kind of thing, like, oh, this is a Polito production, or something like that.
Well, and he just does such a good job because, as you mentioned earlier, like, oh, you want it to feel a little bit like an Italian Job and things like that. And for a comic book that's very static, like there's no moving pictures. I feel like you guys got the point across. Like I said, it's very stylized, but in the way that it tells the story, even if I don't read any word bubbles, I still feel like I'm, transported to Turkey. I'm right there in Istanbul with him and everything like that. So that's that's
the key. Like in comics, a lot of people try to go for a filmic approach, and I love that. I like wide aperture shapes too, but really what works to me the best is if you can cartoon in such a way that you involve the reader and get their imagination rolling with you. Because you're always telling the story with the reader. You're like kind of giving them just enough so that they can add what's going on in their head to it. Now, sometimes that yields weird results. Like I'll be at a show and somebody will come up and they'll start talking about something I worked on. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't put any of that in there. They start just like coming up with all kinds of things that they got out of the reading. And as long as it's not like against what I was putting, I'm okay with it. But that's the collaborative. It's like somewhere in between prose, which of course really pulls your imagination. You've got to do all the visualizing for the most part, and a movie, which kind of spoon feeds you everything.
Yeah. And so as you mentioned, you guys, this was supposed to be something that happened a year ago, and you guys have probably been, especially you as the writer, you've probably been working on scripts or storyboards, things like that. So what is the plan with the first arc? How many issues are you guys looking? How is this going to kind of unfold?
I believe what we're going for is a year storyline told in 4-part increments.
Okay.
I'm just saying that tentatively because things always can change on me. But as for now, that's the way I see it happening, and that's what I'm planning for. Yeah, we already have done most of this first 4-part, which kind of it's like, yeah, I guess after I just got through saying it's not like a film, it is like Act 1. And which would put you in 3 acts. So there, we're totally ripping off movies.
Well, I mean, like you said, though, the thing is, movies and film in Hollywood have done so many different things. The two things that you compared earlier are actually very much different. You know, the way the arc is broken down in comparison to how a movie is filmed. So, like, you can, I feel like you can still be very much like a movie in one aspect while still being very much not like a movie in the other. So, I
think a lot of people run into it's fun. I'm glad you like talking process. You get people sometimes coming over from working in TV and film, and they're kind of shocked at like how much dialogue they can't do in a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because we just don't have the space for it. It's like, yeah, you got to be super selective and whittle it down and suggest more with less verbiage. And we get a little wordy in parts of this just because we're having fun with it, and Javier is good at making it work, and laying it out so that it doesn't get in the way. But I've also done the other things where I've sitting there, I've worked up like spec scripts and stuff, and then I realized, compared to a typical TV show or movie, my characters are saying nothing because I'm so used to working in comics where they say like 2 lines, and that's the page. It's like, so I could go on, I could elaborate here.
I could do lots more. But the thing is, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I haven't ever written a comic, but you have. I feel like in comic books, though, you can, without using words, you can still show some stuff, whether it be the body language, whether it be the placement of something in the shots. Honestly, I was looking at I'm assuming this was Javier doing the lettering, but he actually put a little piece of art in that bubble, or a square or whatnot.
Yeah,
and
that was a cool late addition.
Ways.
He wasn't originally doing that, and then I forgot how it came back and forth with him and Lisa and me, and just to be crystal clear, they always pour over the first issue like it's like, it's been a while since something's come out, we want to make a big impression, and like without spoon feeding people, we want everybody to know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think he came up with the idea of sticking her in the caption box, and I love it. It's such a comic booky thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm a sucker for anything like that. Like when there's I love, like, I can't stand when a comic book doesn't have a title. A lot of times we're like, why would you skip that? That's a fun chance to do a title sequence.
Yep.
And he really gets into that too. He'll do all this cool, he does the daylight thing along the bottom of it. And it does feel like you just watched the Bond opening where silhouettes of women and guns are going around, and then suddenly the name comes up.
It's the Bond opening pretty much in the most Ninjak way possible, because you just got swords and everything, and boom, there you go.
Yeah, hopefully someone out there inclined could make us a theme song, because just occurred to me we don't have one. Be a real John Barry like theme would be great.
I'm feeling it. Maybe, hey, we're out here in Central Florida. We got a few musician friends. Maybe if we book you, we'll get a theme song going. So that way, when you come in, we have a lot of wrestling fans too. So we'll get it set up like a wrestling entrance. We'll be like, and now coming down, writer Ninjak's Jeff Parker.
That'd be great. And of course, I'll set up a Disney World trip during the whole thing, like everybody does.
That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, look, come to the store signing. You know,
Go to
we'll help
Disney
you with
World,
some of
yeah.
the travel, and then we'll get you to Disney World. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it's what you do there.
It is. I mean, and you know, we're about 15 minutes down the road, 20 minutes on the highway from Disney here, but it's like we feel like we're just far enough away that we've got the nice, we're not necessarily Orlando, but we've got everything around. We got the beach on the other side too. You go 30,
Exactly.
45 minutes the other way, you're at the beach. So we like our spot. It's a little hot and it rains a lot, but
It
we'll
does rain every single day. Just that humidity builds up and then boom, and it's just the way it is. And oh, you've also got those crazy alligator farms. That's one of my favorite memories. Is one time I finally went to one, and I was like, oh, it did not disappoint.
That's funny because that's like, I feel like that's the most non-Floridian analysis of Florida that you could get. Is like, man, I wanted to go to Gator Farm and it did not disappoint.
It's like, yeah, I think on that same trip, I went to the Space Museum. Again, did not disappoint. Less gators, but some. Because if you look out there around where they launched, there are plenty.
Oh, I was going to say, they're around. They're just not in the building.
Literally,
right?
it's like you live in some weird time-lost place where dinosaurs are sneaking around in the background. And it's kind of funny. But, yeah, not to get way off of Ninjak, but I went to a gator farm one time near you. And they did this big buildup, like they were having a show where they were going to summon all the alligators. And they were talking about their handler. And it's like, oh, Jack, and I'm not saying that because of Ninjak. I think that was his name. Jack, whatever. It's like nobody knows these beasts like he does. He is the king of the swamp, or whatever. They listen to him, or what about that? They wouldn't dare hurt him. And then this guy comes out and he starts chunking chickens out into the water, so all the gators come over there. And you're waiting for him to talk, and you're like, what kind of crazy lizard whispering is he going to do? And he just starts going, "Come on, gator, come on!" And like his lizard saying, "Come on, gator," for like 10 minutes as he throws bloody chickens out. And yeah, they're crawling all over each other to get to him and everything. And I was like, that's the secret words. Come on, gator.
Come on, gator, man. That's open sesame. Oh, come on, gator. You know?
Yeah.
You go to Gainesville, you hear that all day. Come on, gator.
Yes, you do.
Oh man. So now I know that if I open up a future issue of Ninjak and he's fighting a gator in the swamps of Florida, I know what influenced that. I will definitely give us a nod there.
Look, I try not to just cater too specifically to stores, but I don't know. Maybe part of the adventure could go to Florida for a bit. I mean, come on, it's great.
I mean, the thing is, if he's in Florida, you got to put a gator in it. So if that's what I'm expecting, you know, he can't literally foot off the plane, gator hiss. I'm okay with this.
I did enjoy back when Shaner and I did Future Quest. You know, we were able to have big chunks of it in Florida because that's where Quest Lab was supposed to be, down in the Florida Keys. So we had the Everglades and everything in there. I love putting that as it's a perfect comic setting.
And what's funny is I forgot that you did Future Quest. Future Quest was one of my favorites because it brought back all of the people that I loved looking at in comics. But as we're finishing up, just because we got really sidetracked for a little bit, but as we're finishing up, anybody that might just be joining us, let them know what they can expect from Ninjak or Ninja K, however they want to pronounce it.
Nijak.
Nijak. That will be on the shelves tomorrow with some beautiful covers. Let them know what they can expect.
You can expect a very stylish, kind of retro vibe, yet oddly current adventure with a fair amount of violence and intrigue and some secrets. But I will say this, we're not going to sit there and do the thing of like keeping a secret element of the story from you for a whole year. Pretty much by issue 2, you will be very versed in what's going on. You're going to find things out pretty much like Ninjak does. When he finds it out, you find it out, and you proceed with that information. And if you want to poke people with your katanas, you can do it too.
I actually love how you ended that. If you want to poke people with your katanas, you can do it too. I like it. That's gonna be our tag.
Legal that like I just gave permission. Anything.
But Jeff, honestly, this has been one of the most fun interviews I've had. It took a year, but I've finally got the most Gator mentions in an interview that we've got. So thank you.
Yeah, I've really tried to step up my Gator mentions, and thanks. You gave me the perfect end.
Well, and we're trying to just be topical because then there's Alligator Loki and all this stuff. So we're just trying to be topical.
Exactly. God, I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh man, that was so fun.
Isn't it? But that's what I love about comic books, man. You could put something that you thought you knew, put it on your head, put it on its head, and it's still fun, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, not here to promote Marvel or anything, but it did keep cracking me up in that penultimate episode when every time they would cut to one of the variant Lokis, they'd still also cut to the alligator for his reaction, which is just a little alligator.
I know. Now it's funny because alligators, living in Florida, alligators were feared. Now all of a sudden they're cute and hilarious.
Yeah.
But Jeff, thank you so much, guys. I want to say thank you again to Jeff Parker. His book Ninjak is on shelves, not just at the Collective, but every comic book store in at least North America tomorrow. So pick it up if you can, and we will. If Jeff is ever in Florida, we're gonna make sure we drag him over here, whether it's with an alligator or not, and we'll get him to do some signing.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there if I get within 10 miles.
We'll pick you up. We'll send the Uber out there.
Oh, thanks, man. But
thank you so much, Jeff. Best of luck with the book, and I'd love to have you back on after the first story arc wraps up to see how it's going.
All right, man. Good to see you.
Yep. Take it easy, Jeff. So thank you to my guest, Jeff Parker, today. His book, again, Ninjak, #1 from Valiant Comics. Beautiful covers. We got cover, I believe this is cover B. Cover C. Got cover A by the awesome David Nakayama. We got a cover B by Casper. I mispronounce his last name every time I try, but Casper from Homesick Pilots, a friend of the show as well. But thank you again to Jeff, everybody at Valiant. The book is Ninjak. It is out on stores Wednesday, July 14th, and pick it up here at the Collective. And y'all have a good one. We will see you tomorrow for our dollar auction right here, same time, same place, different background.